to the Daily Bite. I'm your host, Pastor Steve Andrews.
Let's read from 2 Chronicles chapter 22. And the inhabitants of Jerusalem made Ahaziah, his youngest son, king in his place. For the band of men that came with the Arabians to the camp had killed all the older sons. So Ahaziah, son of Jehoram, king of Judah, reigned. Ahaziah was 22 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Athaliah, the granddaughter of Omri. He also walked in the ways of the house of Ahab, for his mother was his counselor in doing wickedly. He did what was evil in the sight of Yahweh, as the house of Ahab had done. For after the death of his father they were his counselors to his undoing. He even followed their counsel and went with Jehoram the son of Ahab, king of Israel, to make war against Hazael, king of Syria, at Ramoth-Gilead. And the Syrians wounded Joram, and he returned to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds that he had received at Ramah, when he fought against Hazael, king of Syria. And Ahaziah the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, went down to see Joram the son of Ahab in Jezreel, because he was wounded. But it was ordained by God that the downfall of Ahaziah should come about through his going to visit Joram. For when he came there, he went out with Jehoram to meet Jehu the son of Nimshi, whom Yahweh had anointed to destroy the house of Ahab. And when Jehu was executing judgment on the house of Ahab, he met the princes of Judah and the sons of Ahaziah's brothers, who attended Ahaziah, and he killed them. He searched for Ahaziah, and he was captured while hiding in Samaria, and he was brought to Jehu and put to death. They buried him, for they said, "He is the grandson of Jehoshaphat, who sought Yahweh with all his heart." And the house of Ahaziah had no one able to rule the kingdom. Now when Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the royal family of the house of Judah. But Jehoshabeth, the daughter of the king, took Joash the son of Ahaziah and stole him away from among the king's sons who were about to be put to death, and she put him and his nurse in a bedroom. Thus Jehoshabeth, the daughter of the king, Jehoram, and wife of Jehoiada the priest, because she was a sister of Ahaziah, hid him from Athaliah, so that she did not put him to death. And he remained with them 6 years, hidden in the house of God, while Athaliah reigned over the land. This is the word of the Lord. So the inhabitants of Jerusalem make Jehoahaz, better known as Ahaziah, king. Ahaz, in the name there, the idea of being taken, took. Jeho or Yah, either of those is the first syllable of God's divine name, Yahweh. So Yahweh took is the meaning of the names Jehoahaz and Ahaziah both. So interchangeable, but Ahaziah seems to be the favored one more often than not. He is the youngest son of Jehoram, and when the Arabians came and killed all the brothers, they left him behind. We talked about that in yesterday's chapter, God keeping his promise that one of the sons of David would sit on his throne forever, from 2 Samuel 7. So Ahaziah reigns just 1 year in Jerusalem, the shortest reign to date for any of the Judean kings. It won't end up being the shortest, but it is for now. His mother, Athaliah, granddaughter of Omri, so part of the line of the kings of Israel. And just like his father before him, then he walks in the ways of the house of Ahab. So he doesn't walk like a Judean king. He doesn't walk like David. He walks like Ahab, this wicked king of Israel who has led his people to worship false gods. He does the same. And the reasoning for his mother was his counselor. Bad counsel destroys. Really does. He did what was evil in the sight of Yahweh, for after the death of his father, they were his counselors. So not just his mother, but also those in his father's family too. Bad counselors that pointed to Israel's ways, to his undoing. Right, he only reigns for a year. He's 22 years old. He dies at 23. Because God judged him. God takes the kingdom from him. So Ahab, his descendant, Jehoram, also known as Joram in the rest of this text, the Jeho prefix to a name often gets shortened to just Jo. Happens frequently. So that's what happens here. Joram of Israel goes to war with Syria, just as his ancestor Ahab had done, battling against Syria and Ramoth Gilead, and he too is wounded there, although he doesn't die there like Ahab did. Here's a question maybe for your children. Why does God disapprove of Judah's kings liking, being friends with Israel's kings? And this is actually very specifically said by Jehu the prophet. So not Jehu the son of Nimshi, but Jehu the son of Hanani the prophet. He speaks this way to Jehoshaphat several chapters ago here, when Jehoshaphat had gone to war at Ramoth Gilead together with Ahab. The very next chapter, the start of, I guess it would be chapter 18, Jehu comes to him and prophesies against Jehoshaphat, saying, why would he love those who hate Yahweh? Why would he serve with them? And that's the issue. When Judah's kings go and try to ally themselves with Israel's kings, they are making allies with those who despise and hate Yahweh. And this is not good. It ends poorly for Judah. And so it is here that Ahaziah seeks to befriend the king of Israel, the northern kingdom, and in doing so, it's going to cost him his life. Verse 7, God ordained that the downfall of Ahaziah should come about through his going to visit Joram. So Judah's king goes to see the Israelite king because Israel's king is wounded, so he's going to see how he's doing, and God is using this to destroy them both. He's ordained, he's already anointed Jehu to be king over Israel, the northern kingdom. And Jehu's going to take the opportunity to kill both kings. It's not the end of the line for Ahaziah. God is keeping that promise. One of his sons, one of David's sons, sitting on his throne. But it's a quick reign. It's a short reign. So Athaliah, mother of Ahaziah, learns that her son has been killed. Instead of grieving, instead of mourning, what do we see her do? She goes about and she kills anyone who has a chance at the throne. She kills the royal family. So this would be the idea of Ahaziah's own children, which is what we end up seeing in the rest of that paragraph. It's not the nephews. So Ahaziah's brothers that the Arabians killed, they left the kids alive. So his brothers had already had some sons. Jehu killed those. But Athaliah is going to wipe out the rest, or so she thought. She's going to miss one, because Ahaziah's daughter, Jehoshabeth, is going to take Joash and hide him, along with his nurse, which makes him sound young, and that's because he is. I mean, we won't see this until chapter 24, in 2 days' time, but he takes over the throne when he's 7 years old. And that's after verse 12 here, where they hid him for 6 years in the house of God. So he's a year old, roughly, at the time of our chapter 22 text here today, when he's taken and he's hidden with his nurse in a bedroom. So Jehoshabeth, the daughter of Ahaziah, saves one of her little brothers, and that little brother is going to become king in the near future. We do learn in verse 11 that she is the wife of a priest. So she has married Jehoiada the priest. Verse 12, he remained with them 6 years, hidden in the house of God, while Athaliah reigned over the land. Might be a family question. Why was the temple of God a safe hiding place for this future king? Like, how could she hide this future king 6 years in this temple? Because Athaliah didn't care about Yahweh. Athaliah was not going to go to the temple of Yahweh because she did not believe in him. She did not trust in him as her God. She would worship at her high places for her own false gods. So there was not a threat for Athaliah to find this child there. Maybe another family conversation. Who else can you remember being hidden as a child at such a young age in Scripture? And you might think back to the Old Testament, to Moses in the book of Exodus, or maybe forward to Jesus, whose parents take him and flee to Egypt so that he is spared from Herod's wrath. So Athaliah's wrath misses this boy who would be king.